Well, we're back at the Beely Good farm. All the equipment had a nice little break over the weekend. Loggers have moved in. That's actually my buddy with the Volvo with the cutter head. Skidder's down there. Looks like they got, 6 or 7 acres cut, I would guess. So he's got a 220 identical to mine with the Ryan's dangle head on it. Looks like they're dragging up some tree link pine pulpwood and getting it processed up. So what he'll do is he'll come over here and they're dragging it up here and just cutting the tops out of it where the branches start, stacking it up, and then they'll make a pile of tops, and then the skidder will grab that and then drag it back out there into the cutover. I'm hoping to get over here and stump an area so that they have a good clean spot to drag that to, and that way we're not burying stumps with it. See tire prints, so at least looks like the log truck's been here at least once this morning. So, moving wood, getting it out of here. So it worked out pretty good. Looks like he moved or loaded my pile out that was right there, what was left. And just getting everything cleaned up now. And drug up here. There's a lot of it down there. Out of it. That works out pretty good. He can pretty much place it right into a pile so that the skidder can grab it. Now we're going to end up with branches up here, but we shouldn't end up with a mountain, I wouldn't think. I do have the dozer to run over and clean it up, so it's not like it's going to be a huge ordeal. Like he's actually going to cut a log out of that one. So we got tree link, pulpwood, and then I think he's going to get a chicken saw log out of that, which is I think it's got to be at least 8 inches on the small end. And pretty much what they'll do is they'll cut anything they can possibly cut out of it and then chip the rest. So you might actually get a couple 2x4s out of it, and then they'll run the rest through the chipper for pulpwood. Yeah, got 2 logs out of that. Obviously they got to be relatively straight so you can actually get something out of it. Even though that tree link pulpwood looks big enough, most of the time it's so crooked that you couldn't get a 12 or 16 foot straight log out of it. It's just not worth it. So that's the reason for that. Sounds like the skidder's coming. Drag some more up here. So they got that time just right where he gets everything cut up. And he's off with another drag. cleaning up the deck. Sweeps everything as it goes. Getting another load out. We're gonna eat lunch here once he gets that loaded up, and then I'm gonna go down there with the excavator and start stumping an area so that he can start dragging all these tops to. So he's not burying them all in the brush, because you can see the log deck. You know, just the loads that I had right here, how much pine bark it adds up. It just really starts adding up. So. Gotta have a good spot to drag all this stuff to, and you know, at the end I'm gonna have a lot of stuff here to clean up as well. So that's a little bit different to load than mine. It's easier and worse at the same time, if that makes sense, because I can pick it up higher, because if you see he's got the dangle head, it kind of dangles a little bit lower. It doesn't have quite the whole grip of the bucket to load it from. Oh, that was probably the worst grab there. Of course, when I start filming, it goes every which way. There's always that one log that just gets crisscrossed. And we're off, squeaky tracks and all. I think there's a pretty good chance of storms tonight, so we shall see. It'll take a little bit of rain to make this too wet to work, but most of it should soak right up. You can see the skid row is just a giant cloud of dust. But he's getting the pulpwood drug up here. He's trying to cut whatever logs they can out of it just to make it a little more worthwhile, but kind of slim pickings here. I'm going to go down here with the Volvo, and we're going to clear out an area out here in the cutover. Get rid of the stumps and brush there. Well, not really the brush. We're actually going to drag all the brush to a centralized location, just to kind of help me clean up. That way he's just not dropping it all back over to cutover in random spots. We'll make one central location right here that he can just start taking it to and piling it up there, and we'll make a big burn pile there pretty much. So this is pretty much everything that he was able to cut in a day and a half. Got all that laid down, and pretty much what that is enough for them to drag out before the wood goes bad and get it out everybody's own quotas. So you can only move so much at a one given time, you know. They'll only allow you to say, hey, this many loads of pine pulpwood and hardwood per week. So he's dragging that out, loading that out. What I'm doing is coming in here, out here in the center, going to find a spot where there's not a whole lot of stuff and stump everything and go ahead and start dragging all this brush and piling it up in one good spot out there so we can start burning it. So getting the spot cleared, as you can tell, he's got a pretty good little drag full of tops right there. Gonna pile them up. I'm getting some stumps out of the way, and he'll drag all that up, push it in a pile, and I hope to get an area cleared enough where I can grab it all and start stacking it up, kind of getting it all condensed into a pile. That way it just kind of stays a little more organized. Not really too critical about raking everything nice and clean right now. Just trying to get the big piles of brush up and the stumps into a pile. A lot of people probably asking me why I didn't just clear all this myself, and the main reason is, you know, we've only probably cut a third of what's getting cut down right here, and there's just not enough grist to do it all. It's just not practical for me to hand cut this much wood. It would kill me trying to do it all, and it's just not cost efficient. They can come in here and cut all this down in a day, which would take me, you know, probably 3 days an acre or so to push all that down and cut wood out of it. And yes, it does leave a mess, but I can sit in this machine and clean it up versus having to get out there for 3 days and hand cut every acre, you know. It's just more of a cost-effective method, even though it does leave a royal mess for me to clean up, but still in the long run it's the most cost-effective way to do it. This stuff's a little bit more messy than the other one, normal, just because it's so much small stuff. It just breaks all up. That wasn't good for the boom. I missed the stump somewhere. But yeah, try to get in here. Once I get to where it's already been drugged, it's pretty clean, other than a few random logs here and there. But try to get him a path, that way he's not dragging everything over top of this and burying it, because that's what happens. Like that right there, I'm raking and I hit a stump that's covered up. If I can come in here and get him dug up before he drags anything, it just makes an overall cleaner product. Plus it's easier for him because he ain't bouncing over stumps either. I mean, this right here is just perfect to stump, because it's just a few areas of brush and little stumps. The ground is hard as a brick out here, though. Like you're cursed if it rains. It's a muddy mess, and it's a nightmare to dig them out when it's dry. I was hoping that the majority of these stumps would be a swat down each side, but some of them are putting up a little bit more of a fight. Like if it was wet, that one would have come right out of the ground, but it's not. But I mean, that is a pretty good size stump. But I can tell you this, that I can already tell I'm going to be tired of stumping by the time I get done with this project. grab logs, brush with the stumper. But I do have a quick coupler, and I can easily put the bucket back on if need be. The land always looks completely different once you cut the timber off of it. Like, it did not look like it fell that much as far as the fall on the land, but we got a fair amount of topography. And good clay. Building the pond shouldn't be a problem with the clay I'm seeing right here. Alright, well, let me keep ripping stumps up, and I'll get a good little area opened up. We'll start stacking some brush up and trying to get a little clean area here. I got a little bit of an area stumped here, and I'm working my way back around to build a pile. Now I'm going to run up there and grab my bucket, put that on, because I can clean this brush up a lot better with that. Pretty good little drag of pine. So I came down right through there and I've made around, and we'll make a big pile right here. Pretty much just stumping around it. That way we got room to drive around it, and obviously make the pile bigger without getting over top of stumps. It's just hard to grab these little sticks. The stumper attachment. But it sure is nice to be able to do that. Try to keep the stumps separate, but I'm gonna mix them all together in this pile. There's gonna be so much stuff. I'm gonna have to, as I burn it, just kind of roll the pile over and restack it there. It's gonna be a lot of stuff to burn. At least we are salvaging what we can. see how bad that big stump right there is going to be to get up. So this being an old cutover, the trees were actually not very healthy, as you can tell by that big stump I'm about to dig up. So I'll make sure I won't miss it in you right here before I cover it up with stumps. They were actually rotten on the inside. That comes from them pretty much just sprouting back from an old stump and it rotting out. There's a big root. So what I'll do once I get an area stumped, or once I get a lot of the trees up, right now I can't really work the best in the world. There's still a lot of drags on the ground. I'll come in here and windrow it all up, break the D6 over here, push it all down here into a pile, stack it up, maybe do a couple, obviously it's going to be more than one pile. Good thing is this thing will kind of rip them apart like that. That was a little rough. Put the bucket back on, and now I'm grabbing the drags that he brought down here from all the tops. This is pretty much the unusable wood unless you run a chipping crew, which would kind of chip some of that, but that's a big money setup and just not enough acreage here to justify it. So that gets brought down here, which is actually needed because I have to have something to burn all these stumps with. So this pretty much branches and top wood is what I'll use to keep a nice hot fire and burn all that wood. I'll take it and put it over top of the stumps that I piled up, should make a nice campfire when it's time to burn this. Dry out a little bit, it will go away from here. I'm gonna burn right here because I think somewhere in this vicinity is where I'm going to, where the big borrow pit's going to be for the clay for the dam. So I'll have all these ashes right here that I can just roll right into a pit when I'm done. I don't want to dig it right now because I don't have a place to put the dirt, and we're calling for a lot of rain this week, and I wouldn't want the dirt to get all wet and muddy because right now it's still intact in the ground there and kind of sealed off. And if we do get rain, it would still stay relatively dry. Definitely starting to get things opened up now, which is a good thing. Gonna see what's going on. Probably bring the dozer down here before I leave today and just blade over the area that I've stumped here, just to kind of knock everything down, fill in any little holes. Gonna break everything down here into a central pile. Yes, sirree, we are going to have quite the campfire when it's time to burn. Delivered right to me. I ain't never had a brush pile so nice and neatly stacked up before. I don't know if that's gonna burn better or worse. Normally it's all crisscross and it leaves a lot of air pockets, so I'll throw some, I don't know. I think it'll be alright. Alright, I'm gonna rake a little more of this up and yank some. So it's coming along, got a good little pile piled up there. This is the old, you can see the old creek channel right here. And it should be about the start of the pond. I lost track of where everything was once you cut the trees down. It doesn't look the same. Bridge there across the ditch. to get all this drug out before it rains tonight. Leave the stuff on the hill, hopefully, for if it does rain. Still a fair amount of wood over here. I'm gonna walk over here and see how much farther it is to the property line over there. Seems like a pretty good little ways. Another load heading out. Just finished blading over everything down there with the dozer. That cloud's coming. Time to call it a day.